Madam Chair, distinguished ministers, ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, I thank His Excellency Mr. Bujar Osmani, the OSCE chairperson in office, for the excellent organization of the Ministerial Council. The Ministerial Council takes place against the backdrop of continued crisis of multilateralism and increased deviation from searching for collective responses to common threats and challenges. Therefore, it is of high importance to ensure that respect for sovereignty, territorial integrity and inviolability of the borders of states is adhered to irreversibly by all participating states in all circumstances and without any double standards. Dear colleagues, this year was marked by restoration by Azerbaijan of full sovereignty over its territories. As a result of 24-hour-long local anti-terrorism measures, Armenia and its subordinate illegal puppetry structure were disarmed, disbanded and fully withdrawn from Azerbaijan. It became clear that despite its verbal statements on recognition of sovereignty and territorial integrity of Azerbaijan, Armenia was in fact trying to win time for revanche while continuing to maintain 10,000-strong armed force equipped with heavy offensive weaponry in Azerbaijan in blatant violation of its commitments. No sovereign state would tolerate such an illegal military presence on its soil, nor did Azerbaijan. It did not happen peacefully because of brazen disregard by Armenia and lack of adequate action by involved third-party facilitators. Despite sharing Azerbaijan's concerns, behind the closed doors, they choose to be selective in their public calls. It led Armenia to an illusion that it could continue its strategy of imitating negotiations while building a new line of contact, digging new trenches, planting new landmines in our territory, and blackmailing Azerbaijan through smear campaign. References to so-called continued relevance of the OSCE toolbox do not correspond to reality. The OSCE was the only institution tasked to eliminate the consequences of armed aggression of Armenia against Azerbaijan. Yet, for years it was ineffective in addressing the wide-scale illegal activities by Armenia. On the contrary, practice of ignoring our legitimate calls and tolerating the status quo of occupation even further emboldened Armenia. The OSCE had a chance to be a part of the solution. Sadly, this chance was missed due to obstructions by Armenia and appraisement of certain participating states. This continues to date, as the organization is blocked to address Azerbaijan's request for assistance projects in line with existing commitments on post-conflict rehabilitation issues. Expressed concern on so-called humanitarian considerations are also ill-founded. On-site observations by international bodies, including the UN, its agencies and the ICRC, have confirmed quite the opposite. While taking the counter-terrorism measures, Azerbaijan acted in an exemplary manner. No single Armenian resident was forced to leave. On the contrary, Azerbaijan made consistent calls for local Armenians to stay and reintegrate as equal Azerbaijani citizens. Our government took subsequent efforts to address the humanitarian and socio-economic needs of local residents, including by declaring a comprehensive plan for their future reintegration on the basis of Azerbaijani citizenship, which is exclusively internal matter of Azerbaijan. Such an approach by Azerbaijan is in stark contrast to Armenia's continued refusal to redress the violated rights of hundreds of thousands of Azerbaijanis it has forcefully expelled from its territory. Distinguished colleagues, despite devastation and unhealed wounds, it was Azerbaijan which initiated the process of normalizing interstate relations with Armenia based on mutual recognition and respect for each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Unfortunately, despite Azerbaijan's unequivocal commitment to peace, the process suffers from undue delays. It took Armenia more than 2.5 months to finally submit its comments on the draft agreement. By the same token, biased and one-sided actions by certain third parties also seriously affect the process. Despite all the challenges, Azerbaijan remains committed to the soonest resumption of direct negotiations to finalize the peace agreement. We publicly offered Armenia to meet on the mutual state border or in an impartial and neutral third country. We continue to firmly believe that there is a historic opportunity for Azerbaijan and Armenia to establish good neighborly relations and coexist side by side in peace as two sovereign states. It is high time to seize this chance. For that, it is necessary for Armenia to realize that the road to peace goes through bilateral dialogue and normal relations with its neighbors. Continuation of geopolitical intrigues launched by other actors is counterproductive, since it only serves to sustain confrontation and delay peace. The wider international community also bears responsibility to refrain from provocative actions and fueling tension, including here in the OSCE. Before concluding, I reiterate the readiness of Azerbaijan for constructive engagement within the OSCE in overcoming the existing challenges to its functionality and efficiency. Thank you for your attention.